What would it feel like to wake up from a coma and transform from a tough student that is not qualified enough to graduate from high school to an incredible with the most vigorous characteristics? The world you're living in is now full of freakish monsters plotting the collapse of human civilization. Even though you're the only person who can conquer them, you'll have to risk life and limb. Then what would you choose? Living in peace for the rest of your life, or being a revolutionary hero? The story begins with the introduction of Ming He, an exceptional student who is always a low achiever. He never stands out from the crowd. Even his granted power is considered the weakest one of all. Notwithstanding his loserdom, he has always been carefree. The only fantasy of him is becoming the strongest person in the world, passing the Academy's admission test with flying colors. At the Academy's admission test conference, there are so many participants who pass the written test, and they are there to be tested on their extraordinary talents. Generally speaking, there are 5 different ranks of extraordinary talents: White Dust, Blue Spirit, Purple Soul, Red Honor, and Black Saint. And the Academy only accepts students with the rank of Blue Spirit and above, so that means participants who have lower ranks than Blue Spirit are not admitted. Ming He came to the school quite early. He was so excited about getting admitted to the school like everyone else. After long hours of waiting, it was finally his turn. Every competitor stood in front of a ball to test their extraordinary power. The others' results were not so bad, but it was only him that became a joke to the world. A low achiever indeed. Ming He had the White Dust power, the lowest rank. The crowd took a shock. Thousands of eyes looked at him as if he was a strange creature. Ming He was very embarrassed and hopeless. Even the Purple Soul ranked campus belle felt wretched on his behalf, because she knew that Ming He sacrificed his youth to his dream of getting accepted. At that moment, Ming He only wished to disappear into the ground. He turned the throttle and rapidly left the conference. Although he has an extraordinary power, his power is the weakest type. How is he supposed to face a beast strong enough to destroy a skyscraper? Ming He is unwilling to face the truths, sliding on the streets like an indeed racer. Then suddenly, there's a meteor flying above him. Ming He smiles in relief, continues racing like crazy and convinces himself that the meteor won't hit him. But suddenly it flies in front of him and crashes. The knockdown leaves a colossal hole on the road. Ming He falls into a coma right after. In the daze, he hears a voice announcing the start of a mysterious power system with the image of a woman. The voice gradually appears and disappears. The woman is actually the meteor that crashes into him. After some checking, she finds that he is an interesting human, much as unlucky as he is. She smiles, endows him with an extraordinary gift, the Red Honor power. The whole process is happening in his dream. In reality, he's still in a coma. After the crash, he was rushed to the hospital, bruised with many injuries. According to the doctor, his condition is good, but due to the severe shock to his head, he might be in a coma for a long while. A few days later, he's still barely surviving like a dying chicken. The classmates come to visit consistently. The blonde bastard accidentally sees a flower bouquet on the table, with a letter of Lu Qian's acceptance to Ming He's confession of love. The bastard becomes mad, shreds the letter into pieces. A year passed. On a night without a moon or star, from a sluice comes a giant savage cockroach. It quickly becomes the center of attention. The news about it spreads at the speed of light. The hospital where Ming He is in is also located in the southern suburbs. The situation is packed with panic. People flow out the doors to find an escape. When everyone's struggling, Nurse Song, with the work ethics of the medical profession, she can't leave the student, who is still in a coma. She rushes in the hall, opens the door to Ming He's ward. Then suddenly, she feels something gooey approaches behind. On the mirror reflections, she's scared the shit out of her by an exotic giant cockroach with a disgusting interface behind her. The prickly thorns of it grabs her shoulders and the drooling tongue licks her face. She closes her eyes, prays to God that she won't be the meal for the cockroach. Then suddenly the hands of the patient in front of her move. A blinding loud bang comes right after, hits the cockroach and shatters it apart. Nurse Songs, bedazzled, looks around and sees that Ming He, seconds ago was still lying on the patient's bed, now sits up in bed, with a mannish six-pack. Outside the building, the mutant monsters are enthusiastically climbing up. At the same time, the pal of them in the ward is now dead. She cries fearfully on the floor. Luckily, the guy alongside her helps her up. She looks up, can't believe that minutes ago, his chances of survival was endangered with the appearance of the giant cockroach. Ming He wakes up from a quite long coma, finds himself in a hospital, and is even more taken aback to see a bunch of cockroaches all around him. According to the nurse, the government clarifies what is happening, that the source of the pollution entered the city's sewers, resulting in the mutation of the parasites underground. Every resident of the city is trying their best to evacuate, but Nurse Song is in charge of Ming He and she is unwilling to leave him in a dangerous situation like that. Ming He ties up the shirt covering his six-pack. He forces a smile when the nurse is interrogating why a normal student can perform a fetal punch to that mutant monster. Who's going to believe that although he seems as if he's in a coma, but actually he has been training himself in his mind for a whole year? To dodge the nurse's non-stop questions, Ming He hurriedly changes the subject. and tries to find a way to evacuate her and himself. The mutant cockroaches make it to the hospital's hallway. Each of them is so dirty and mean. Facing the cockroaches, he closes his hand into a fist and punches non-stop. Every punch comes with a crack of the cockroach's tooth that is as crunchy as the chips in your mouth. Suddenly, Nurse Song screams. Ming He immediately gets on his way and sees that the cockroach is trying to chew the nurse's head. He throws some powerful kicks. The sulfuric acid container on the stretcher is lashed out. He uses his fists to break the container apart. Some of the acid gets onto his hands. The remaining pours all over the cockroach, making it gone into pieces. Actually, he has been putting an eye on the sulfuric acid for a long time, but today's the day he has had a chance to use it as a weapon. Ming He has saved the nurse's life. Nurse Song is still in shock about what's happening. How short-sighted was the admission teacher to not accept him into the academy? Ming He doesn't know how to react to this question. He forces a smile again. Finally, he knows how being a powerful human feels like. The best thing to have right now is not rice but sulfuric acid. The blackish discharged water can't stop pouring itself into the canal. This group is trying to escape, but they suddenly get blocked by numerous giant cockroaches. A distress signal is sent out immediately. At that instant, a man dressing like a cowboy with a gun makes his appearance and kills the cockroach that is trying to smash the car's windows. He is a Starlight rank extraordinaire, equipped with a limitless number of bullets. The cockroaches are shooted on sight and die in droves. When he thinks that everything is over, from his back appears a more disgusting creature. A gigantic rat, with a mohawk hairstyle and a knife-like denture, fiercely gets on the way and grasps the man with its hands. The battle reaches its peak when the rat relentlessly bites right in the middle of the body. Everyone in the bus can't take this situation any longer. They can only scream in despair. At that time, Ming He and Nurse Song have managed to escape. As long as they leave the hospital's campus, they see the bridge falling apart. A comms that fell behind is reporting the news about the mutant rats. Ming He grabs the comms and demands the other side for more information about the rats. Also introduces himself as a student who failed the extraordinary power test. The one on the other side yells at him, tells him to stop dreaming about defeating those highly ranked monsters with such a weak power. The last bus evacuating the doctors is being thrown off the bridge by a rat. The rat is enthusiastically biting the bus, making the doctors inside even more panicked. Ming He can't seem to see a death in front of his eyes. He leaves the words of the person on the comms aside, and rushes to the bridge with Nurse Song. When patients are endangered, doctors are the saviors. And now, when the doctors are endangered, who will save them anyway? No one knows what's gonna happen if he doesn't try. And then there's Ming He with his horrifying acidic punch to the rat's face. The nauseating cockroaches normally are as tiny as a toe, but with these mutant genes, they are in the size of a grown human. And about the mutant rats, they are now bigger than a house. With this magnitude, it is sensible to be afraid that Ming He won't have any tooth left after a single scratch. Rats are very responsive, so you'll need to skillfully dodge every attack of them to secure your life. That's what Ming He's thinking. He's trying to lure the rat away from the bus. This mohawk head rat is such a quick-tempered rat, it immediately chases after Ming He. Every step of it leaves a huge hole on the ground. Grasping the opportunity, Ming He turns over, uses his thunderous punch on the rat. The rat falls down, its eyes are closed as if it loses its consciousness. Ming He comes over while planning for a finishing blow, but it suddenly comes into his mind that a rat is good at nothing but being a schemer. It is truly shifty. The rat is just waiting Ming He to approach it. When he's close, it gets up straight away, bites everywhere by its sharp tooth. Ming He has fallen into its trap. The bestest choice for him right now is run. Lying on the bed for a whole month results in his fragile body. The power from his fists is not enough to kill this highly ranked monster. So, here comes the introduction of the wisdom power. Seeing a gasoline leaking van, he knows what to do. First, he lures the rat into the right place, and then, he opens up the lighter, throws it into the gasoline puddle. It goes boom in the air. It seems like he has already awakened his symbiosis power. He can freely use fire to buff his strength. It's high time killed the rat right now. He slayed the rat with a finishing move that is on fire. The doctors are all wide-eyed. They are amazed to see under 20 patient at death's door can hold such miraculous power. The news that the monster has been defeated shakes the whole command post off. The girl with this apple-bottom jeans is using the comms to get in contact with her fellow, K-Uyn, the purple soul ranked campus belle, to inform her the news. The two girls don't know exactly who the hero is. They just guess that it's probably an unregistered extraordinaire or an extraordinaire from another place taking a visit. At the rescue station after the fight, Nurse Song is carefully bandaging Ming He up and expressing her gratitude to him. An elegant figure is standing at the entrance of the station, yelling at the security guard. She is Ming He's elder sister. Thinking that Ming He's still in a coma, she yells at the security guard for not letting her in. Ooh, my brother hasn't even held a girl's hand before. Ming He can't just die like that. Hearing his name, Ming He is dazed. His dumbfounded face clearly tells that a year of coma can make humans forget some important things, such as having a sister. Meeting her brother again, she runs towards Ming He and hugs him in tears. Ming He looks so bewildered. He doesn't know how to react to these things. Then suddenly, he remembers that in the one-year coma, he has heard his sister saying that she has to take a part-time job to afford his hospital bills. It must be a tough process for the beautiful lady.